Right, let's bring in Segodi Mogotsi, who's the Trans-Kalahari Corridor Management Committee co-chair, joining us to expand on this discussion. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. With the 20-year mark, it sounds like a pretty exciting event. I mean, 1,900-kilometer race across South Africa, Botswana and Namibia. Let's perhaps start off with the logistics. Who's going to be involved? How will it happen insofar as the planning is concerned?
Thank you very much, Nkositole, and allow me as well to greet the viewers of SABC. The three countries, Botswana, South Africa, and Namibia, signed what we call the Memorandum of Understanding on the 3rd of November 2003 to establish the secretariat known as the Trans-Kalahari Corridor Secretariat. This is an institution under a certain protocol on transport, meteorology, and communications that oversee the interest of the three countries, coordinate the work of the three countries on the corridor itself. The corridor is anchored on the N4 in South Africa. It goes into Botswana and Namibia. So the secretariat in the main is responsible for coordinating this kind of gigantic work in terms of bringing the 30 cyclists from Botswana, 10 from Botswana, 10 from South Africa, and 10 from Namibia. So in the main, the Trans-Kalahari Corridor Secretariat coordinates that work on behalf of the member states. But then South Africa, the National Department of Transport, under the Minister Cindy Chikunga, is the one coordinating, putting together the logistical arrangement for this corridor on the South African side. When it gets to Namibia, Botswana, the Botswana Ministry of Works and Transport will take and do the responsibilities working together with the Trans-Kalahari Corridor Secretariat, which is the body that represents us, the three member states. So the responsibility in terms of putting this together is a joint effort between the Department of Transport as a coordinating department, working with other stakeholders, law enforcement stakeholders, as you can see, from police, from traffic, the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture in the province of Northwest, Department of Community Safety in Gauteng, the Department of Transport Management in Northwest, and many more other stakeholders and the transport entities like CBRTA, Road Traffic Management Corporation, Sanral as well, Artinia, and many others. So in South Africa is the Department of Transport that coordinates the whole entire logistics together with the Secretariat and other stakeholders.
So in your joint collaborative efforts, how are you going to ensure the safety of the cyclists? I mean, just now, if you may have heard, SABC News asking, some of the runners, some of the cyclists who are part of this event about their views. And one aspect that stood out is the question around safety. How are you going to ensure it?
No, thanks very much. We're working together with the law enforcement. As you can see, we have requested there's a work coordinated by our law enforcement agencies that provides escort services on our corridor for the cyclists themselves. But I think much more than anything else is a confidence, one that we have on infrastructure, and we're showcasing our infrastructure as transport as a country, and to say, we are so confident of this infrastructure, so confident of our road, to an extent that we can have cyclists to travel 1,900 kilometers on without any incident that will threaten their safety and security on the corridor. We're doing this as well to promote road safety. We're doing this as well to look at other economic objectives of integration amongst the three member states. So as a joint effort with communities that are involved, with the stakeholders, law enforcement, and everybody else, our cyclists are guaranteed safety as they traverse on this beautiful corridor.
How significant is this collaborative effort among the three member states? And perhaps what steps does it truly represent as you view it holistically, perhaps even considering matters like strengthening trade relations?
It is very important for us as the three member states, and it's a vision that has long been shared. You will remember the vision of our four leaders, Mandela, Kwame Nkrumah, when they talk of integrated Africa. they had a vision of what we call from Cape to Cairo, connecting the countries along using transport infrastructure. Now, for us, it becomes very important that what we do with this integration, with this collaboration, one is to strengthen the bilateral relations that we have with member states, but also to strengthen and go beyond just political relations, but also build the economic integration amongst the three member states. And I must say that though the MOU was signed by Botswana, South Africa, and Namibia, we have seen that it goes beyond the borders of these three countries. It goes into Zambia. It connects as well into Angola. So you can see that it is a platform and provides opportunity to integrate and connect with other member states. We are doing this to ensure that we improve the value chains in our region. We're doing this to ensure that we improve our logistical and freight relations challenges amongst our members, but also to improve the trade and inter-Africa trade amongst our members just beyond the signatories of the MOU itself. So it's an economic vision that is anchored on the transport infrastructure to ensure that integration.
Perhaps touch a little bit on some of the challenges that are being experienced in the space as you collaborate as the three countries and hopefully see a way forward which results in security in the region, fostering prosperity in the region. How do you view it?
Yeah, look, quite honestly, one of the reasons why even this MOU was signed by the member states was to say, how do we ensure that the goods and services that we bring to our people across the region reach them on time, but also we reduce transport costs. We know that moving trade in the continent as it is now, there's high and huge transport costs that are attached to that. And one of the things is to say, if you transport any goods here, how do we make sure that when it reaches our people anywhere in the continent and in the region, it becomes at a much more reasonable prices, and at the time you have dealt with issues of the transport cost. Secondly, is to look at what we call the non-tariff barriers or the obstacles and impediments to ensure the free flow of trade amongst the member states, either at the ports of entry, which is our borders, where sometimes we see long queues on our borders due to lack of integration and harmonization of our systems as member states. So as SADC, as African Union, led by African Commission, we've put a very vicious program of harmonizing our systems, of harmonizing our laws and regulation to ensure that we improve efficiency and effectiveness of our interventions, one in moving trade amongst our corridors. Secondly, thirdly, was to look at how then do we integrate the border operating times, where you find that in some other parts of the continent or on some other parts of the corridor, we operate until 12 o'clock. Botswana and Namibia have just signed what we call the one-stop border post, where they'll be operating 24 hours on this corridor. On the South African side, we are operating until 12 o'clock at the Skelpad border post with the vision, of course, to align our border operating times to make it a seamless and free flow of traffic amongst the member states and beyond.
Yeah.
The other issues, of course, we have seen some of the challenges once in a while, the hotspots, and mainly being service delivery issues that cross and find the space on our transport infrastructure. So those are some of the challenges that we've seen over time: lack of integration of our systems, lack of harmonization of our laws and policies, and we are working together as member states to ensure that we deal with those issues that we have identified as challenges for us and impediments.
Very well. Thank you so much.
That talks yes.
Thank you so much. Let me thank you for your time. Apologies for that interruption. Segodi Mogotsi, who's the Trans-Kalahari Corridor Management Committee co-chair, joining us for that discussion.